Guys, in today's video, we're going to discuss how to use your quadriceps to help you to prevent falls and to better navigate moving around your home, getting in and out of a car, going up and down stairs, whatever challenges that you might have before you and you face on a daily basis. Also, just getting up and down from the toilet seat, that can also be a challenge. So we're going to start with what I'll call progression 1, because oftentimes I've seen in videos where people instructed to just do squats to get stronger. It's good advice, with the exception of it doesn't take into account where you are in your journey. Some people are not ready to start there right away, and it might be a little bit intimidating. So I'm going to show you some steps, some progressionary phases of how you go through the cycle from easiest to a little bit more challenging, so that you can move through safely and get yourself stronger and better as you go. A countertop is probably going to be the easiest thing to manage. And take a bar stool, something that's quite high where your hips are higher than your knees. That gives you an easy leverage point and makes it easier to get up and to get back down. And even use your hands and your arms as a support to help you to stand, and also use them to help you to sit back down. And if you feel very uncomfortable, you can have one hand on the stool, one hand on the counter. So you push from both ends and then reaching back, finding that seat just so that you feel secure when you're sitting. And then the next phase would be when you do those regularly enough, and I would recommend doing that about 10 to 15 times, several times a day, as much as you think you can manage. In this case, more is better, especially since it's your body weight. It's probably not likely that you're going to overtax, overstress yourself, but listen to how you feel, how your body feels, and let that be the judge of how many times you do it. If you really feel tired after you've done it, and you don't feel like you've recovered very quickly or easily, then take the necessary rest. The second phase would be to do this and to stand, use your hands, but not look back. Feel for that seat and use your hands very sparingly, until you can get to what I would call phase 3. Not use those hands at all, from the height of a bar stool. Lean in a little bit, driving your chest towards the ceiling and your hips forward so your body gets perfectly aligned. And then reach back, same process, shoulders out in front of the hips to go up and down. And now we're getting ready for phases 4 and 5. I hope you're ready. Okay guys, we've moved on to phase 4. Now the chair is obviously lower than that bar stool was. As you can see now, my knees are even with or slightly higher than my hips, which is going to make getting out of this position a lot more challenging. This is sort of where you find yourself if you were sitting in a car, or perhaps on the toilet seat in some cases if your toilet is positioned very low. But in this case, I would say the next stage is to have your chair with some arms, scoot to the edge, get those knees slightly out in front of the ankles, lean your shoulders forward just as before, and now we use those hands to help us to stand. So in that vertical line again, reach back, find those arms of the chair to help you to sit down. And again, chest goes towards the ceiling, the hips move forward until I'm in a straight line, reach back, find the arms of that chair and slowly sit. The next phase is when you get strong enough, you go without the hands altogether. I lean in, the technique is the same, chest goes up, hips move forward, reach back with my bottom, shoulders out in front of the hips to sit. I get up and I return the exact same way. All right guys, and now before we go to our last phase, well, the last couple phases, we got 2 exercises left. But before we do that, if you've gotten any value out of this video to this point, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel, but more importantly, if you have someone that you think could benefit from this information, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would share it with them, just so they might get the benefit of what you're seeing today. They might have an opportunity and a window and a path that they can utilize to get stronger, to be safe, and not have a fall that could have been preventable. So Get ready for phases 6 and 7 coming up right now. All right guys, here we are at phase 6 and 7 of our squat progression. We started with the countertop and we went with hands to no hands, and then we eventually went to a lower seat with hands, without hands. Now we're at the point of doing squats with body weight. You'll notice that the setup is very much the same. I'm going to start with a wide base like this, and I'm going to start by pushing my hips back just like I would reach for that chair, and my shoulders come slightly in front of my hips. You determine how low you go down based on how your joints feel. And when I stand, I push my chest up towards the ceiling, my hips come forward, so I get that vertical line that I talked about earlier. And to go down again, I don't start with the knees. That's a no-no, because imagine if that chair was still back there that we were practicing sitting in. I would miss that chair if I started with the knees. But if I push my bottom back, I'm going to land and hit that bar stool or that chair every time, chest up and hips forward. So that's phase 6. Phase 7, we're doing the exact same thing, but now we've gotten strong enough, presumably, where we can add a little bit of resistance to our squat. I'm just going to hold, I can hold both bells. If I do that, I'd probably take a narrow stance so my arms can just drape down at my side, and I would just sit, squat. Notice the mechanics are the same. My bottom goes back, my shoulders lean slightly forward, but I never round my spine like this. My spine stays straight and extended, and hips come forward, chest goes up. Or if you only have one bell, you can hold that right between the legs, open your base, arms stay long, and I would do the same thing all over again. Just sit back, drive the chest up, the hips forward, stand, find that line. When it's time to go down, never start there, never round. Long spine, push the bottom back, hips forward, stand tall. Hey guys, that concludes our 7 phases of getting our legs stronger to both prevent falls and to be stronger so we can navigate spaces, our life, our daily challenges with great confidence and certainty. Until next time, we'll see you here on Longevity Spaces. Be well and stay healthy.